And I love the life that I'm living, actually. And it's mostly my wish for other people to find that within themselves, that they can love the life that they live. And I feel my heart just wanting to cry upon saying this, because it's so important to be able to live a life that you love and to be able to love yourself within the life you're living. And I'm not always in a pleasant emotional state, not at all whatsoever, especially with this Kailash plan and all the initiations and the new energies and everything that is happening to me constantly, the constant process of spiritual evolution. It's so fucking exhausting sometimes. I hate it. But at the same time, I love myself. And I'm also grateful for this, whatever it is. And there's so much confusion we get to process. And there's even this part of me that's like, no, I can't allow myself to be confused because I have to be in this perfect state all the time. And I have to be clean and clear and put together and hold myself together. And I just don't fucking want to do that anymore. I know who I am, and I've held myself together for so long. Even within fucking spiritual practice, we have to hold ourselves together and be disciplined and learn and keep on striving and keep on evolving. And all of that bullshit is essentially just not loving yourself. It is escaping the current circumstances of your life and the emotions you would feel if you would just allow yourself to be a freaking human being. I'm so sick of it. And I want to be Kailash. I want to be that energy fully and bring it and just shout it into every fucking space that I enter, because that is what people need to see and feel. But at the same time, the truest thing that I could do is just to be honest with myself about how I actually feel, about what is actually going on. And even the people who are already super confused about what the hell I am, what the hell is going on with that freaky human being doing all kinds of things that we don't understand, and she's not consistent at all, and she's a walking paradox, and we don't like it, and we're scared of her, but the next moment she's sweet and she loves us, and then she says she don't want to see us anymore. All of that makes me want to push to being that clear, fast, steady, and oriented spiritual master that knows everything, that can transmit, that walks into the room and claims it with her presence, and people fall at her feet because they understand God just by looking at her. And in the striving for that, we get lost. So lost. More lost than we have ever felt before. And then we come back to our center, understanding that everything we tell ourselves is in the end just a brutal lie. Or a brutal truth, whatever you choose. It's just something you make up, something for yourself to believe. And you could choose to believe that you need to be a spiritual master by putting yourself in a state of holding all of that energy and being strong, being centered, being in your pure connection, only letting the light flow through. Or you could tell yourself that by being wild and losing yourself in the human experience of just being here and doing whatever the fuck you want and not caring about what other people think because you're so lost in your own experience and you're just enjoying whatever comes to you, or you're suffering whatever comes to you. I don't even care. I just do it, I let myself flow, I suffer, I enjoy, I suffer, I enjoy, I suffer, I enjoy, I suffer, I enjoy, I suffer, I enjoy. Maybe that's just what it is. And maybe that is the most spiritual thing I could be doing. And coming into center does feel important right now. Because it's not fun to run myself over. And that is what it feels like when I allow my mind to be too scattered. Then I let myself run over. It's like literally like I'm being ran over with a car. It feels so fast and it feels hasty and like I don't get breath anymore when I do this. And when I'm with the wrong people and I don't find the balance of coming to my center in the right time, then this happens. I'm kind of just becoming like an automatic response to things, and I can't hold myself anymore. But the center is something I think we ought to find by letting the pendulum swing into it naturally. Going into an extreme, finding your center, other extreme, finding your center, into an extreme, finding your center, other extreme, finding your center. And it's not always fun to live that way. We might want to be stable and balanced in our emotions all the time, but I know that that is just not my path. I'm an extremely emotionally volatile human being, and my emotions are my freaking power. They are my juice, my life force, my inspiration. They bring forth the best artistic expressions and the most dramatic things and stories on this world. I'm such a dramatic human being. I love drama. I love sinking deep into my pain and rising high in huge ecstasy. And I love dancing, because in dancing there is nothing left of me. In dancing I could die tomorrow, today, whatever. And I want to be in that drama. I want to be in the drama of life. And I hope you want to be in there too. It's better to want to be in there and be in the drama and have the suffering and the swinging of the pendulum and all of that, than to not be wanting to be in there and still experience it. What's the point? And we also want to have our hearts open and overflowing. And how do we do that? Well, I don't know. The heart is like a clamshell. Sometimes it wants to be open, sometimes it wants to close. The pearl is in there anyway. We're not losing anything. We're not losing anything when the heart feels contracted and unsafe, and like we need to retreat into our clamshell. Nothing's changed. You're still a valuable human being. Still deeply valuable, whatever way you are. And when the heart is open, and we let the light of the divine radiate, and we trust ourselves, and we trust our experience, we feel blissful, and we feel elated, and we feel like nothing could hold us back. And maybe we would like to feel like that all the time. Maybe that would be fun to feel like that all the time. But as long as it is not the truth of what we are actually experiencing, what is the point in striving for it? What is the point in feeling blissful all the time, wanting to feel blissful all the time, if that is not actually what we're experiencing? And recognizing this opens the heart. I'm not a fucking blissful human being. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't. I enjoy my tears. I enjoy my anger. I enjoy lust. I enjoy eating food, overeating. I enjoy being dramatic. I enjoy setting a boundary and then coming back and crying and being like, oh, please forgive me. And I just surrender to that game, that play, that confusing, never-ending process of making decisions and then seeing what the outcome is. Making a decision, seeing what the outcome is. Okay, I didn't like it. Well, try another decision next time. That's the karmic game. Accepting the consequences of our choices. That's all that karma is actually about. Accepting the consequences of our choices. That gives us the detachment we need. And why do we need it? Well, simply because we know ourselves by detaching from the karmic patterns. And we cannot actually avoid having karmic patterns. Karma is there. It is what is running this reality at all times, even for enlightened beings, even for the highest beings in the highest realms. If they are embodied, they have karma. It's just that they create it consciously. And the more we can forgive ourselves for the choices we make and be a little bit detached from the outcome of it and just try something and then see what happens to our reality, including our own way of feeling and our own mental state and our own mind. The more we can detach from all of the nonsense about needing to get it perfect, the more we actually learn that there's not that much in a problem in doing anything whatsoever. And there are definitely, we should admit, helpful choices if we are striving for something. If we are striving to attain to a higher level of consciousness, to raise our frequency. If we're trying for that to happen, then yes, we can fast and we'll become lighter. And we can do practices and we'll feel more clear. And we can devote ourselves to energies and interactions with a guru. And they will uplift us. We'll become the wave of their energy. Rising, 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 rising. But the question that I'm currently with is, what if I don't need to rise? What if there's actually no need to rise? No need to attain. No need to raise this consciousness anymore. Just done. Done. Totally done. And what if I can actually start talking about something else? Finally. And just recognize how I truly feel, which is that there's tension in my chest and I'm feeling some fear. And at the same time, I feel a connection to my higher self. I feel that there is an energy pouring through me into my field, into this video, into the people who are watching and receiving this. So there is a channel open, it is flowing. And now that I've named my fear, it is actually gone. It has cleared the way. But I've spent like 5 minutes trying to get that fear out of the way without naming it. That's just freaking impossible. We need to recognize every single aspect of ourselves to have a clear channel, and we need to see every single emotion and feel every single sensation to have a clear channel. So we need to be human. Human all out. Human fully in the body. Human fully in our connections, relationships, experiences, lost, distracted, oriented towards something that is not helpful in our lives, confused, all of that. We need to allow it. If we don't, we are just obstructing our own flow, our own creativity. So here I am, a little bit tired, ready for the new moon, which is tomorrow. Feeling retarded, feeling like I have nothing left to lose in a way, feeling like I don't know anything, and at the same time feeling like I have joyful prospects in life. I've met nice people. There is kindness coming my way. And I'm making this video enjoying myself, enjoying my sharing. Being real. Finding out what it means to be real. Finding out what it means to be a conduit for the divine and the human as one creatively intertwined project. Finding out what it means to have a mind that is confused and still trusting that it is God. Finding out that I don't need to be clear in order to be perfect and divine. And maybe that's just something else that I'm telling myself, but essentially, it is the ultimate truth of this creation that there is nothing else but the creative principle. And the creative principle, the creative life force, is what we are. It is in every single aspect of us. And it's just trying to find its way. That silly little mind is just trying to find its way as an expression of the divine. And we can step back from it and we can be fully in, and it doesn't actually matter. Doesn't matter what we do with it. And I was about to say, as long as we love ourselves, but even that. What does it mean to love yourself? Does it mean to be happy? Does it mean to let yourself have every experience, or to avoid certain experiences because you don't want to feel unpleasant? Could be both. They say that love is the embrace of everything. Taking something as yourself, acceptance, not standing in the way of it. But we're in a universe of duality. And sometimes a certain part of us is not accepting of another part of us because they are contradictions. They exist in paradox. And then it's just knowing that even then we're home, even then we're loved, even then we are an expression of the creative life force, the creative principle, anyhow, anyway. And maybe we can find some peace in that in that knowing that in some way it's all beyond us. There's nothing for us to control or do with it. There's not even a way to understand what it is actually all about. We don't get it. We don't get it. The silly little human mind cannot actually get what this life game is about. It cannot. It will not. It will never. We can just live life. Live life. Let life be in us. Flow through us. Do whatever it wants to do. Have the expansion. Have the experience. Have every single experience. And understand that we seem to be making the choices, we seem to be having the thoughts, we seem to be leading our lives, but essentially we're being led by creative life force. And free will is a thing? I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe it is. I don't understand what it even means to have free choice. What does it mean? Yes, in my experience, I can make choices. But at the same time, I feel like I don't exist in those choices. I feel like life force exists. I can feel sometimes that my choices are being made by something that is beyond me, that is not what I know as myself, what I would describe as myself. And even this feels like bullshit to talk about it. It's impossible to explain or convey. It's just a lived experience of self-understanding and awareness that we were created. Maybe that is the best way to put it. We have been created because we came into being. We weren't always here to have this experience of ourselves as a human being. We've been dead before we were born because we didn't exist. That's what death means, non-existence, emptiness. We were in that space. And suddenly at some point in our lives, we woke up, started developing the capacity to name ourselves, to recognize ourselves as a human being, as an individual. But this wasn't always so. So we have been created in that sense. Something brought us forth. The human, in its self-understanding of individuality, is been brought forth by something larger, by something more valuable, more important, that at the same time is deeply inside the human and in every aspect of the human, because the human is an evolving process. It is continuously changing. The individual mind never stands still, it is never the same, and we experience different things all the time because our inner landscape is what is experiencing. There's no difference between my inner experience and the life I meet. So if that human thingy, that mind thingy is always changing and evolving, and it has been created, it must mean that this creative force is still within it, don't you think? And that is why we are God, we are the creative life force. The creation itself is happening as us. Creation is not something outside of us. We are creation. We are creativity. And that is why I like art. Because in art, I experience myself as this force. I completely fuse with that as my self-understanding. Because I don't think about who I am anymore. It just happens. My creativity just happens. Creativity is there. And you might ask, what is the point of all of this? What is the point of this whole creation, the creative life force, a universe making up little individual minds to have little individual experiences? And genuinely, I don't know. Maybe there is no point. Maybe it is purely about the exploration itself, the exploration of life, just understanding that it has creative capacity and enjoying itself with it, or choosing not to enjoy itself with it. Just purely exploring the creative capacity, exercising the creative capacity because it is there, because it exists. Because creation wants to create. Creativity is the unfolding of something that is transforming all the time. And we don't want to get stuck upon a single creation, because then creativity is actually done. It's not moving anymore. So we always want to be on the edge of creation, letting ourselves explore further what this creativity is all about, where it wants to go, where it wants to lead, how it is us moving, expanding, evolving. And the moment we get bored, we can actually tap into that creative stream. And we can feel ourselves truly and fully, be in ourselves, be in our own bodies, because that is where the input comes from. The mind thinks it is about input and output and the mind processing, because the mind is an information processing machine. But it need not necessarily be in between. The body itself is a vessel, is the channel for that creativity. And if we can actually bypass the mind, not need it anymore, then it is just pure creativity in the body expressing. And that is why we ought to feel our bodies and put our attention and awareness, our consciousness into the body, into our sensations, into feeling our humanity, feeling ourselves fully as a human being, fully in this body, fully in our hearts, acknowledging, recognizing, opening ourselves, opening our awareness, and putting our awareness with every single sensation, because that is the information of creativity within oneself. And the mind, as it is a processing machine and runs in patterns, it actually doesn't have access to this creativity always. There is definitely an opening in the mind. We can create openings in the mind for the mind to become free of its own patterns. But as long as it is running the loops of what it already knows, there is no creativity in that. And at the same time there is, because it is imbibed with life force to even have a mind in this existence. But to know the creative principle as oneself, we have to get out of the mind and into our body, into our lived experience, into our sensations, and open up the mind to something that is new, that is beyond ourselves, something that we don't even know yet, something that is not yet processed information. So if you're speaking spirituality from what you know, from the lessons that you think you've learned, it might be integrated wisdom, but it is also just blah blah. It's just a thought that has become a pattern in your mind. Maybe it's a helpful pattern, maybe it's a helpful pattern to share with others. That could just be the case. Maybe it sparks something, but it is not the embodiment of creativity. The embodiment of creativity is always new, always on the edge, and it never knows itself because it is coming into creation. It's coming into being.